Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about cognitive psychology and main exponents that made different theories inside this study. But first, let's start with the first question that prepares all thinking about. What cognitive psychology and why is it important? Cognitive psychology is the study of internal mental process. All of the working inside your brain, including perception, thinking, memory, attention, language, problem solving, and learning. Learning about how people think and process information helps research and psychologists understand the human brain and assist people with psychological difficulties. Now, with this information in mind, we have to take in mind that cognitive psychology is a relatively young branch in psychology, but it grew into prominence between in 1950 and 1970s. Prior to this time, behaviorism was the dominant perspective in psychology. This theory holds that we learn all on behavior from interacting with our environment. It focused strictly on observable behavior, not thought and emotion. After some time, research became more interested in the internal process that affect behavior.
Ulrich Neisser. Ulrich Neisser is known as the father of cognitive psychology because in 1967 introduced the term of cognitive psychology, which he defined as the study of processes behind the perception, transformation, storage, and recovery of information. His support for understanding human nature prompted him to go beyond theories and laboratory studies. According to Neisser, cognitive research should not be restricted to laboratory, but rather find an application in real-world context, where we can use our memory, perception, attention, and other mental processes. More than just laboratory findings, he sought to show that cognitive psychology makes a difference concerning significant issues. His theory is called the perceptual cycle model, or PCM, the theory that he came out in 1976 was originally conceived as a model to help understand how people process information. The PCM depicts a cyclical relationship between internal schema, mental templates based on experience and expectations, and the information on the external environment. The schemas are triggered by situations and lead to anticipation of certain types of information, direct our behavior to sample or seek out specific information, and provide a way to interpret that information. Our perception and experience of the environment can result in modification and updating our schemas, which turn in influences for further interaction with the environment. He thought that increasing power of computers could make the measurement of cognitive mechanisms easier. In his cognitive view, he also stressed the ideas of information and constructive processing. He believes in cognition is essential to what a person can do.
Jean Piaget. We owe the theory of cognitive development to Jean Piaget. He had an empirical research where he formulated a learning model based on the concept of action and of experience in 1936. Piaget believed that learning was preceded by the interplay of assimilation and accumulation. The to and fro of these two processes leads not only to short-term learning but also to long-term developmental change. The long-term developments are really the main focus of Piaget's cognitive theory. After observing children closely, he proposed that cognition developed through distinct stages, from birth through the end of adolescence. By stages, he meant a sequence of thinking patterns with four key features. Number one, the stages always happen in the same order. Number two, no stage is ever skipped. Number 3. Each stage is a significant transformation of the stage before it. Number 4. Each later stage incorporates the earlier stages.
The cognitive development theory. It was developed by Jean Piaget in 1955. And this theory says that children go through several stages as their thinking process develops. This theory explains the why about how and why children's thinking and perceiving change as they grow and mature. The theory talks about the set of changes that happens in the human thought. The theory is made up of 4 steps. In the first stage, this stage starts from 0 to 2 years old of the human. Here the individual learns that his actions modify the environment. The second stage. This stage starts from 2 years to 7 years old. The child has a new point of view, he starts to imagine new things, and also he recognizes new shapes. He also can recognize a cat or maybe a cow in this new stage. The third stage. In this stage, that is from 7 years old to 12, the child starts to use the logic in his or her daily life. And this is because now he can acknowledge more things than before. Number 4. The last stage. This is the last stage and starts with the adolescence. In this stage, the child now gets a new comprehension of the world and he starts to develop some new useful tools for the rest of his life.